His elder sister herself had to cut his hair because the barbers refused to serve the Mahas. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, that is Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956, is regarded as the architect of the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is a chronicle of his childhood. Hello everyone, welcome to session 1 of 2nd Sem BCom English subject Essay 1 On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Myself B. Shobarani, Faculty in English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence in MYSURU. This is a wonderful essay written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of the Constitution of India. In this particular session, I'll be discussing about the event that happened on the way to Koregaon and the experiences that was experienced by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar at the age of 9. In this particular session, I'll be discussing about the author, the great man, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the architect of the Constitution of India, summary of the story, that is the essay, glossary, comprehension questions, and essay type questions. Let me move on to a brief introduction of the author of this wonderful essay On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, that is Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956. You can see in this picture Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. His full name is Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956, fondly remembered as Baba Saheb, is regarded as the architect of the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He championed the Dalit movement in India and campaigned against social discrimination and untouchability. His family's low caste status subjected him to a life characterized by discrimination, segregation, and untouchability. His father held the position of Subedar in the British Army, while his mother passed away when Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was 6 years old. So he lost his mother at a very young age of 6 years. He received his early education in Bombay. He is renowned for spearheading colonial India's only autonomous movement, advocating for Dalits' rights and social recognition. Ambedkar's academic accomplishments were exceptional. He obtained a bachelor's degree in economics and political science from Columbia University, earned a master's degree in economics from Columbia University, and completed his doctoral studies at the University of London in 1923. So you can imagine what was his academic record, which was really exceptional. In 1927, another doctoral degree was obtained from Columbia University. The Maharaja of Baroda funded his advanced education in the United States, necessitating his return to serve within the princely state. In 1918, Ambedkar began working at the Accountant General's office in Baroda, but had to resign after just 11 days due to challenges associated with securing permanent housing owing to his caste identity. Ambedkar underscored education as essential for empowering citizens. So he found that he himself should get educated for empowering citizens and cultivating an egalitarian, that is, a principle that follows everyone should have equal rights, transcending outdated discriminatory practices. You can see in this picture the Koregaon. So what exactly is this essay On the Way to Koregaon? On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is a chronicle of his childhood. So a list of happenings that happened in his childhood was narrated in this particular essay on the way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So, On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is a chronicle of his childhood experiences of untouchability. Extracted from Waiting for a Visa, an autobiographical document, the episode was narrated by Ambedkar in a speech at a public rally in Thane, Maharashtra in 1936. This essay, On the Way to Koregaon, holds a mirror to the rigid caste system of India. It can also be read as one of the representative texts narrating the stigma of living as an untouchable. Ambedkar recalls the episode of making a train journey to Koregaon, where his father worked as a cashier. Ambedkar heads towards the destination with his brother and his sister's son. So he was on his way to Goregaon to meet his father, who was working in Goregaon. So he was accompanied by his brother and his sister's son. And on reaching the station, the boys are bewildered. That is, bewildered means very surprised that nobody was there to take them to Goregaon in spite of the father's arrangement. They had written previously a letter to the father that they're going to arrive at Goregaon. So they had in their mind that the father would have sent somebody to the station to pick them up. So on reaching the station, the boys are bewildered that nobody was there to take them to Goregaon in spite of the father's arrangements. Initially, the station master who comes to the rescue, thinking of them as upper caste, is repulsed upon, means he changes back again when he gets to know that they are not the upper class society children, but they are Mahars. So he changes himself. He is repulsed upon realizing them to be Mahars, an untouchable community. Later, an alternative solution was suggested by the station master himself. The children should drive the cart and the owner should go on foot to avoid defilement. Means it is like if the cartman sat along with them and drove the cart, like he would be polluted. So the defilement means polluted. So later an alternative solution was suggested by the station master himself. The children should drive the cart and the owner should go on foot to avoid defilement. On their journey, the children understand the brutal reality of what it means to be an untouchable. It was a horrific incident for the children on the way to Goregaon. They experienced what they experienced being an untouchable. Deprived of the basic needs, that is, on their way, they were deprived of food, water, and human contact. Deprived of the basic needs, that is, food, water, and human contact, the writer realizes caste is a dominant criteria for judging people in India, irrespective of their education, wealth, and culture. So he thought that in spite of having good education, wealth, and culture, but caste comes into as a very dominant criteria. He understands that. The essay explores that many aspects of untouchability and its impact on young Ambedkar. So this particular incident where he was treated as an untouchable, this incident was a very, very thought-provoking incident for Ambedkar, for himself to change, and that is, it had a great impact on the young mind of Ambedkar. The inhuman practice leaves a severe long-term psychological scar, means mark on him. He writes that this incident was a rude shock to him and significantly molded his personality. So this one incident at the age of 9 was significantly molded his personality, and he wanted to do something to his community. So let me explain the story, that is the essay. Ambedkar recalled an incident which had given him a shock he had never received before and made him question the untouchability that he had become used to. So Ambedkar recalls an incident which had given him a great shock that had never received before by him and made him question the untouchability that he had become used to. In 1901, Ambedkar's father, Ramji Sakpal, who worked as a cashier in Koregaon, asked him to visit him for the summer holidays. The 9-year-old Ambedkar, his elder brother, and one of his nephews decided to take the train from Satara, where they lived with Sakpal's sister. They were excited. The children, you can see in this beautiful picture how the children are excited. They are, particularly the train journey makes the children very excited. So the same excitement Ambedkar and his nephew and his younger brother had while traveling in the train. They were excited. This was the first rail experience. They had bought a new shirts of English make, bright bejeweled caps. So you can see the caps completely decorated. New shoes, new silk bordered dhotis for the journey. They drank lemonade at the train station. The train ride was great fun for the children. There was no one to receive them at the rail station in Mysuru. So when the train stopped at Mysuru, but nobody were there to pick them up, Sakpal had not received the letter with the date of their visit because Sakpal did not know that the children are arriving. So there was nobody. So no arrangement was made to pick the children from the Mysuru station. The station master who was there at that particular point of time, who was initially kind to the forlorn travelers, me who had come all the way, had turned cold on learning that they were Mahas. Initially, he was very nice to the children, but when he got to know that they are Mahars, a particular caste community in Maharashtra, then he changed his mind. So their nice, close, and manner of speaking, Ambedkar surmises means, it doubted the station master that they were from the upper community, had misled him thinking that they were Brahmins. Only one among the owners of bullock cart agreed to carry them. So he said, okay, fine, you can go on in a bullock cart to reach your place of destination, that is Koregaon. But so only nobody agreed to pick them up and carry them in their, take them up in their bullock cart and leave them to the destination place, that is Koregaon. Only one person, only one among the owners of bullock carts agreed to carry them. But there was a condition made by the cart owner. What was his condition? His condition, however, was that the passengers themselves should drive the cart while he walked alongside. That is a very, very interesting point to be noted here. The cart owner agreed to take them to their place of destination, that is Koregaon, on the consent of the station master. But there was a condition made by the bullock cart owner. What was that? That the children themselves have to drive the cart and he would just walk alongside the bullock cart, because if he sat along with them, he would get defilement. That is, they might be polluted, because these children were from the Mahars community. So they reached Koregaon the following morning. Famished means completely, they were too very hungry and demoralized. They had lost their confidence, that because it was a very horrific incident for them, because they were not able to reach Koregaon in time and there was no food, water, etc. for them. So everyone had refused them water on the way. Waiting for a visa grippingly narrates these experiences. Ambedkar adds that he was indeed aware of being discriminated against before. He had to sit apart from his classmates. So he started recollecting his childhood days, his school days, where he was allowed to sit apart from his class. He was not allowed to sit along with his classmates in a corner of the classroom. You can see in this picture, a touchable person had to open the water tap. So even he was not allowed to open the water tap and drink water. Only a touchable person, means a student from an upper class had to open the tap for him, open the water tap for him, since he wasn't allowed to do so himself. And his elder sister cut his hair. See, his elder sister herself had to cut his hair because the barbers refused to serve the Mahars. So even they were not ready to do their haircut because they were Mahars. But the Goregaon incident shook him in a way that none of these had done. So this particular incident, the travel to Goregaon, that is on the way to Goregaon, was a horrific incident for Ambedkar, and that molded his great personality. So that was the story of this wonderful essay, On the Way to Goregaon, by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So let us come across some of the important words that you come across in this essay. That is, bejeweled means adorn or decorate with precious stones. Blurted means to utter, to speak out impulsively. Career of righteous living, enjoying a carefree life. Detrain means getting down the train. So they got down in the Mysuru train. Famine means a severe shortage of food because of failure of crops or rainfall. Indignities means an affront to one's dignity or self-esteem. Mahars means an untouchable caste in Maharashtra. Plying means to travel a route regularly. Prostrate means throw down flat as on the ground, with frustration and disappointment. Quench means to put out, extinguish. Tarried means linger, hang around hesitantly. Treachery means an act of deliberate betrayal. So these are some of the important meanings of the words that you come across in this particular essay written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, that is On the Way to Koregaon. Let me move on to the type of questions that will be asked from this particular essay, that is, answer the following questions in a word, a phrase, or a sentence, like from where did the author live? Who ruled the Bombay presidency when the incident happened? Where did the author's father work and in what capacity? Fourth question, what preparations were made by the author and his brothers for the travel? So before they traveled to Goregaon, what were their preparations? They stitched the new clothes, they had bejeweled cap, new shoes, all that you had to explain here. Then moving on to the next question, where were they supposed to detrain? Who are the Mahars? Why were the cartmen not prepared to take the auto and his brothers in their cart? Why did the author and his brothers remain hungry during their journey to Goregaon? How old was Ambedkar when this incident took place? What advice did the cart driver give Ambedkar and his brothers to get water? So these were some of the questions that would be asked either for a one word answers or a phrase or a sentence. But what type of questions will be asked? For essay type questions, that is where you have to write about a page and a half. Questions like bring out the difficulties faced by the author, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar during his journey in the essay On the Way to Koregaon. How does the essay reflect the rigid inhuman practices of Indian society? So these are some of the type of questions that will be asked at the end of semester exam, theory exam, that is the type of questions that will be asked from this particular essay called On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Hope you all have understood this wonderful essay On the Way to Koregaon by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Thank you.